Okay guys, so let's start. Now the next part is mailbox configuration role. Yes. No, it's the same thing. It's the second chapter. So in this module, guys, we're gonna go through administrative tools, and we are going to configure the first role. Everyone, in this, we are going to go through the first role, and that first role is mailbox configuration, mailbox role. And there is a chapter on each one of them. So CAS has a chapter, Hub has a chapter. So now in this, the very first thing, we went through the demo of Exchange Management Console, EMC. We went through the demo. And within our demo, what we did, we made sure that Exchange is working fine. We saw the summary of Exchange. We saw that how many servers are there, databases are there, recipients are there. And then we also tested our mail flow. So basically what we did, we just tested internal mail flow. This is called internal mail flow. We haven't tested external mail flow. External mail flow is that you send to Gmail and you receive it back from Gmail. But for that, we need a MX record. We need those things within the environment. So this is a challenge for all of you right from this. So normally we do this after Hub discussion, where you should be able to find many YouTubes on this. In your Exchange environment, how do you do external mail flow? So eventually I'm going to show it to you how it is done, but take it as a challenge. Once your environment is ready, try to send email to Gmail and receive it, and then from there send it back. One thing, there are two parts to this challenge. One is sending to Gmail, and second part is receiving from Gmail. First part is the easiest one that you will be able to do. Second part is a complex one in which you need to deal with MX records. You need to deal with few things there from your Exchange side as well. So this is the challenge till the end of the training. Whoever is able to do it, it's good. Otherwise, I'm going to show it to you how it is done. So basically, we'll be having two challenges. This is first challenge, and second challenge is to have a mail flow between two organizations. For now, this is just one Exchange organization. At the end, you should be able to have a second organization and send and receive emails from that. So two challenges for this training. So here, when we start talking about mail flow, in mail flow, the very first thing that it wants us to understand is PowerShell is very, very important for Exchange admin. Now, book is saying PowerShell is important. You would see many people talking about PowerShell, but guys, basically everything that you can do from GUI can be done through PowerShell, and everything that can be done through PowerShell can be done from the GUI. But here, few things here. So we need to understand what PowerShell is and how PowerShell works. The most important thing about PowerShell is just to understand how commands run, or how do you find which command you need to run. And you don't need to remember commands, because there are hundreds and thousands of commands in PowerShell. So here, this is just the basics of PowerShell. What is PowerShell and how PowerShell works? So PowerShell, okay, before that, what we did just before the break, so it should be in your notes, that we installed Exchange. We did the Exchange install 2010. And then we did the verification. You need to know how verification is done. So verify Exchange installation. Number 3 is you need to do a mail flow test. But before that, check summary. Check Exchange summary. Now, how do you verify? You verify it by opening EMC. So this is how you verify. You verified by opening open EMC. EMC. If EMC opens and shows you the summary of everything, it means your exchange is installed properly. And now if you don't have EMC on any server, so you are told in the organization that this is your exchange server. But when you went inside the server, you didn't saw EMC there, it means that it's not an exchange server. So basically the very first thing is EMC should be there. Now open EMC and just verify exchange connectivity. Verify exchange, yes.
So even if it had only one row, right?
It would have EMC, yes. So exchange connectivity. Then you checked exchange summary. Exchange summary basically shows you, this shows you how many DBs are there, DBs, number of servers, number of DBs, number of mailboxes. So summary. And then we did a mail flow test. Mail flow test. We did a mail flow test. In doing mail flow test, what we did, we created users. So here we created user and then log into mailbox, log into mailbox through OWA. So once you log into mailbox through OWA, you will log in and test an email to yourself before sending it to somebody else, to yourself. What? MALI.
Gardner.
No, you need to create your own users. Okay. So here, create user and then log into OWA. Guys, the very first thing is test and send an email to yourself. So send. This is actually what we call it. So actually, this is mail flow. So send email to yourself. What do you think this email sending to yourself would give you? What does it show you? Sending email to yourself, not to anybody else. Internally is working, which means cache is working, hub is working, your mailbox is working. So all three. And then when you send it to somebody else, it means that, okay, it is able to find other mailboxes as well and send it. So send to yourself. And this means that you check also draft, you check send, you check outbox and inbox. So you verified all that. In many cases, guys, when you send, the email just is stuck in outbox. So you would receive a call saying, oh, my mail is in outbox. It's not going anywhere. So this simply means if it is sitting in outbox, guys, it could be as simple as, if it is sitting in outbox, it could be as simple as your client's network is not working. Client is not able to send a notification to Hub Transport Server. But that also means that it was able to send it to the mailbox. Mailbox send a notification, but Hub is not able to pick up that email and send it forward. So send an email to yourself and then send receive email to another user. So this is just one liner for this. That Exchange is a critical, mission critical application because many users connected to many mailboxes makes Exchange very busy. And it is since it is very busy, if it shuts down in the middle, if you just pull the plug, then it can disturb the Exchange database. It can so we shouldn't just pull the plug on Exchange. Okay, PowerShell. PowerShell, these are just quick slides. What is PowerShell? Now, PowerShell is a shell language. It's a shell language. It's actually, you can say these are power commands introduced in 2008 R2 and 2012. Power commands introduced. These are more powerful than just a DOS command. These are just more powerful than DOS commands. Now these commands, all the commands in PowerShell are known as commandlets. All the commands in PowerShell are known as commandlets. This is second thing. So all commands in PowerShell are known as so we need to remember the word commandlet. All commands in PowerShell are known as commandlet. So Exchange has its own commandlets, SQL has its own commandlets, Active Directory has its own commandlets. So there are many commandlets there. Yes.
It is a
scripting language. It has command. It is a scripting language. Now, so here, each commandlet is made of two parts. Yes. So each commandlet is made up of two parts. There is noun and verb, separated by hyphen, separated by dash. So each commandlet has a noun and a verb. A noun and a verb, like noun, get user, get AD user, new user. So each of the commandlets is just made in this manner. So there is where dash object. You have enable mailbox. You have enable dash mailbox. So each of the commandlet is made by. So there are many nouns and many verbs in there. Most of the time, all you need to do, so PowerShell, Windows PowerShell is a scripting and a command line technology that is accessible from PowerShell, PowerShell.exe, and command shell that is used for GUI, used by GUI tools. So now here, why is it important to know? Because all the Exchange, everything that you do in Exchange, it is based on PowerShell. You create new users based on PowerShell. You create new mailboxes based on PowerShell. Create new databases based on PowerShell. Move databases based on PowerShell. High availability based on PowerShell. Everything in Exchange is based on PowerShell. Basically, whenever you do anything in Exchange, so here, if I go here and if I go to EMC, within EMC, you go create new users. Guys, all of the users here are created inside mailbox. So if you go to recipient setting, we're going to go through all this, but here I'm under recipient configuration. Recipients are known as the users with mailboxes. So this is everything about mail users. And this is everything about Exchange server. This is server configuration. This is everything about Exchange server. And this is everything about organization, complete organization. So basically you can say this is all like forest settings. So forest, the top level. This is like forest settings. So organization settings are all here. Now, in both of them, you will see that here it says mailbox, and here it also says mailbox role. Here it says CAS, here it also says CAS, and hub and hub. Now here you would see all the organizational level settings for this role. Organizational level setting for CAS, organizational level setting for hub. And here you will see server level settings of mailbox and each role. And this special part is just for recipient settings, just for user setting. Now let me create another user. So let's create another user. I'll go inside, create a new mailbox. As soon as you go create a mailbox, it asks you again what type of mailbox do you need. We go to next and new user. And this time we are going to create.
So behind the scenes, this PowerShell scripts that are being executed. Can you do this?
Yes. So I'm going to show you that script. So ACAN. AK47. So ACAN. Now here, guys, I can select, this time I'm going to select a database. For example, if you have, now it is quite possible that within one Exchange server you have many databases. So we create different databases because you need to have certain amount of users in one database, certain amount of users in another database. Now here, as you can see, if I browse now, and it will show me only one database. So it's just looking for all the databases, and it shows me only one database, and that database is this. And this database has a random name that Exchange automatically. So basically, at this point, what's happening here is, I am in this Exchange server. And now it has one database that is created by default, and in this it has two mailboxes already, which is one for admin that we logged in, and one for Ali. And now we're creating a third mailbox. So it's up to us. We can use it, create it in this database, or we can create another database here and then create it. Now, the main reason why would you need to have multiple databases here, guys, I'll just give you one reason so that you can remember. And that one reason is that most of the time you would keep executive mailboxes in a different database and normal employee mailboxes in one database. The reason is, if this database goes down, it won't affect executives. Or it could be you want to keep different departmental mailboxes different. So, I mean, this won't even happen in large organizations because you cannot just give one database to each department. No. So mostly it is executives or employees, or maybe it could be different cities for different places. So here, database, so this is saying which database. Later on we're going to create a database, but for now I'm going to create this in the same database here. So here I would just say this is going into this database. Now if I would have not selected it, it would automatically go and use this database and create it. If I would have had many different databases, then it would have asked me that, oh, you have two databases. Which database do you want to create? Yes. Comment, question, answer?
हम मुगल लोग हैं, तुम खानदाने बोला मत ले।
मुगल यार, ये आपकी ऐशों की वजह से आज आप इस हाल में पहुंचे। आपने बहुत गलत अपने आपको बता दिया। हम ढूंढ रहे हैं उन मुगलों को जिनकी वजह से अभी आप बोला। Okay, so guys here. So guys, we have two Mughals sitting here. Okay guys, here. So I created this third user. Oh, I created the third user. So another user. challenge number one. What was the challenge number one? Send email externally. Send email externally. What is the second challenge? Oh,
Receive.
send and receive from two organizations. Send receive emails from two different organizations within your network. So, mail flow between two organizations. Guys, challenge number 3 is create 200 users in Exchange.
Yes, it will be without
Guys, create 200 users.
200?
Yes,
It says board.
200 users. So whatever is on the board. 400 users, guys. Yes, for sure. You're not creating them by. So use a PowerShell for this. You can create these users by using the PowerShell in Active Directory, and then add one more command within the same script, and you can create mailboxes for them as well. So challenge number 3 is this. Now in Exchange, the more users we have, the better it is for our experience. So this is challenge number 3. This is by next week should be done. Okay, another user. हाँ मैं करके दे दूँ challenge आप.
निशान ये जी
Which one? Mailbox, mail flow. Mail flow between two organizations. This is Nasha. Okay, so guys, here I want to show you that in every wizard in Exchange, at the end it will give you a complete PowerShell command in every wizard in Exchange. So once that complete wizard is done, right here it would give you that, okay, if you ever need to create a PowerShell for new mailbox, you need to run this new dash mailbox, the name is this, alias is this, user principal name is this, and all that. So here, and all you need to do, you can just say Control C, and it says right here, to copy the content of this page, you can say Control C, and then you can open Notepad and place this here. So basically the command that it ran was all this command. So if you ever need to see this command, the command is this. Now,
this is the command which created
this is the command that created this. This created the user and the mailbox, because we did user and mailbox. So in Exchange, everything is based on PowerShell.
Creating another one, you have to actually modify that command and put the new users.
Exactly. You can just put it in Excel and just change the name, keep on changing the name, and you can just copy it 200 times and run it 400 times. Or you can get a ready-made scripts. There are ready-made scripts available. You can just take them, put it in PowerShell, run them. It's not that simple though, because you need to enable executable scripting executable command inside PowerShell, then run that script. So this is why I said it's a challenge.
How do you check the command?
How do you check the command? How do you see the command? So whenever the wizard is done, At the end of the visit on summary screen, it always shows you the command.
So
Here, so let's take another example, and here user and Adnan Robin is sitting right here. Right? Is that right spelling? No? Are you?
You're changing the spelling.
Robin Hood. So it's Ru, are you?
REU.
R-E-U.
You're changing everyone's last name.
Yes.
it looks like
मुगल साहब क्या हो गया आपको? R-E-U-D-H.
ये तो अपने हम काम कह रहे थे
You मोहम्मद पठान.
ये जो कुछ 10 दिन का मर्जी करता है दिल
वो
करता है
दिन
वो
के
बन
हिसाब
जाते
से
हैं।
होते हैं.
सैटरडे को
यार अब इससे आगे ले जाए तो अच्छा है. Okay, it's right here. At the end, it gives you this command. Okay, so PowerShell is made up. All the commands in PowerShell are known as commandlets. Commandlets are made up of noun and verb. Now, in this case, you would see this is a noun get dash user, and then sort. Sorry,
This is the syntax.
it's the syntax.
The words will be always first.
Verb is always first, noun is at the end. And then you go on, and then it shows you that management shell, exchange management shell is command line interface. Now, guys, as we know that all PowerShell, not all PowerShell have all the commandlets. Special PowerShell Exchange, if you don't install the Exchange module inside their PowerShell, your Exchange command won't be available. If you don't install, so when you open this, so what I mean is here, let's go here. Guys, there is a PowerShell right here. So this PowerShell is a normal PowerShell. In this PowerShell won't have any Exchange commandlets. But guys, for all of the products, SCCM, SCOM, Exchange SQL, SQL, then Exchange, all of them comes with a special PowerShell window. So here, if you go into Start and you go into All Programs and you go into this, here this has a special Exchange Management Shell. The only difference between this and this normal one, that in this you already have a PowerShell installed in this. So here you can run all the Exchange commandlets. But in the normal one, you won't be able to run any Exchange commandlets. So this is what we need to remember.
So in that, then we can run the Windows.
Here you can only run Windows shell. Windows commandlets, and here you can run all the commandlets here. You can load it there as well. It says just import and dash and install commandlets.
Like Active Directory, you have Active Directory module for Windows PowerShell.
Oh yes,
That's
yes.
the same thing.
It's the same
That's
thing.
its own module.
It has its own module, and that is Exchange module. So now here it says that this Exchange Management Shell, which is a PowerShell with Exchange module installed, it provides more than 700 commandlets in Exchange 2010 administration and offers an extensible scripting engine, and it applies role-based access control permission. So it has all these features that you can see in PowerShell. Yes.
Users will be in ADUC or in the
Again?
400 users will be in ADUC or license?
Both. So yes, you can create with one script. You can create those users in Active Directory. Just a little extension to that script. You can create mailboxes for them. Now I would say that find a script that creates both. So don't try to create your own script. Just find a script that creates both users and mailboxes. Now what is remote PowerShell? You can also, with PowerShell 2.0, you can run PowerShell command on remote servers as well. So if this is Exchange Server 1, in PowerShell 1.0, this was not possible. This is 2.0. In this, you can open PowerShell here and run commandlets on this server or this server. So you can do this as well. and then learning about management shell. In management shell, it just says that whenever the verbs are all get, set, enable, disable, add, mailbox database, exchange, and then you can also get help, which is get help, and you can run the command line. Guys, in PowerShell, what I think, you don't need to remember these commands, but you need to know how to use PowerShell. So let's see this. So this is how I do PowerShell if ever I have to do it. All I need to do is, this is my PowerShell open, and if you know what you want to do, for example, mailbox, I need to see all the commands that have the word mailbox in it. And all I need to do is say get help, and you just say the word mailbox. And as soon as you do, it would show you all the commandlets that have the word mailbox in it. For example, it's showing you there is a add mailbox database copy. It has add mailbox permissions, clean mailbox database, and it's going through all of them and gives you this. Now, let's say connect to mailbox. So it's just
On this side we have the name, right?
on this side. This is all verb. These are all nouns. So this is the example how you can use it. This is the example how you use it. For example, here let's say you need to disable or enable any mailbox. So this is how enable dash mailbox. But let's say now you need to know how to use it, how to use this command. Guys, the easiest way is again get help. Within get help, you can say get help. So once this is done, I'll show you. Let's say I want to enable a mailbox, or let's say disable a mailbox. All I need to do, I'll just break this here. Control C to break the command, and then clear or CLS to clear screen. So here I can say get dash help, and then I would say disable dash mailbox. Now one thing that I can do, I can keep pressing tab. If I keep pressing tab, it will keep changing names here. So tab means that you don't have to write, you don't have to remember the complete word, just 4 characters, then press tab, it should automatically complete it. So here, no, for now I'm just getting help. I'm just getting help for this command line. It won't be disabling it. But the easiest way I can give you, I'm giving you the easiest way how to find the right command. So how to find the right command, guys? You can say dash full. If you say dash full means that you need to see a full help on this command. So if I say full on this, then here it gives me a huge book of help here.
If you write dash example,
Yes.
then it gives you an example.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like if I want to disable mailbox.
Yes, I'm showing you that. So first is full. Full means full help. But here, instead of full, you can say, example. E-X-A-M. Example. In example, it would give you the complete command. For example, here it says, just disable this mailbox. So you would just say disable dash mailbox and the email address. So guys, this is how we use PowerShell. So in PowerShell, you don't need to remember command, but you need to know how to get help and how to work with it. For me, what I do is I just do these 3 things. First of all, find the commandlet that I need to use. So get help, this one name. Secondly, and just get help command and then the help, then examples. So it would show me example. All I need to do, I can right click on this, mark, and then copy this exactly as is. I can copy this and then move it right at the end here. I would paste it here, and now I can just change it to mali at canapps.pri. And it is saying, do you really want to disable this account? Yes, disable mailbox, and it is disabled. So now the mailbox is disabled, which means if I go and see that if this is accessible, so it is. Let's log out and log back in again. Disable. So mailbox could not be found in CANF's M-Ali. If the problem continues, you can call the help desk. So you see, account was disabled, and user won't know that why he's not able to connect. So at this point, he needs to call the help desk, and Exchange admin would go in the list and see that why the mailbox is not available, because we disabled it. And all you need to do is go back to the commandlet and enable it. So I would think that maybe it's the same way. Let's try that out. Enable. So it is enabled. Go back again, and here, yes, it is logged in. So it's logged in, but a problem occurred with it. So it might be just few moments that would just recognize, and it should work in few moments. Okay, so we're going to try in a few minutes. Okay, so here, now there is something called ECP in Exchange. So we are on mailbox server role. I'm going to go into Exchange server and show you more. We'll see that how can we work with the mailbox server role. But here, guys, in Exchange itself, inside Exchange, there is another tool called Exchange Control Panel. There is another tool called Exchange Control Panel. Now, that tool, so here in your notes, you should have Get Help, and this is what we did. Mailbox. We just found the help for mailbox, and then we again did Get Help. And we said, we found our command and we wanted to get more help of disable mailbox. And we said full. So full will give us everything. And then right after that, what we did, we wanted to get a specific syntax. So we just did mailbox. And we said examples. And then right after that, what we did, we copied that example and then used it. So we copied the example, and then that was disable dot mailbox, and then we did M-Ali at ERI, and then we tested it by trying to log in. So this is what we did. Now the second thing here is that is known as Exchange Control Panel. So Exchange Now, the Exchange Control Panel, which is formerly known as ECP. So people might ask you, have you ever worked in ECP? So ECP is an Exchange Control Panel that is available inside EMC. So within EMC, you would open it, or if you remember the URL, you can open it. ECP is actually an easier way to access Exchange and easier way to manage Exchange objects. ECP is almost like Active Directory Administration Center. Remember that in 2003 you never had Active Directory Administration Center. So basically, just to make help desk people use Active Directory, if you go to your server if you go to your server here, if you go to administrative tools here, this is called Active Directory Administrative Center. So this is basically just to give the help desk people to have access to Active Directory. Now ADUC for Active Directory admins, but you can do the same thing from this as well. Active Directory Administrative Center. In Active Directory Administrative Center, it opens, and here it gives you an easier access to Active Directory objects. Guys, exactly like this, in Exchange, you can give ECP to help desk so that they don't have to log into EMC and use Exchange. So you can give it to them so that they can do their daily day-to-day task if they ever need to do anything on Exchange.
You install it on the client?
No, it is a web. It is web. So you just need to give them web link. Now, how do you access it? How do you access ECP? ECP is right here. So if you are inside here in EMC, which is Exchange Management Console, all you need to do, go to Toolbox, and within Toolbox, you go down here, and here it says if they have not changed the location.
Recording is on.
Recording is on. Okay, it's here. So it's in client access. It's in client access. So you go into ECP. So just in your notes, just say it is in under server configuration, in client access, and Exchange control panel. Right here. Just beside OWA. Just beside OWA, there is ECP. And ECP is also a website. So all you need to do, this is for management. OWA is to log in into your mailbox, but you double click on this, and here you copy this link. Now, basically the only difference between OWA link and this is that at the end of your domain name at Exchange server, there is the word ECP. So if you can remember your Exchange server name, you can just say HTTPS Exchange server name full FQDN, and right at the end just say ECP. So if you take this URL and go into Internet Explorer, here just connect to ECP. When connecting to ECP, what can it give you? Guys, ECP basically gives you these. So ECP, once it is on for end users, for help desk, or for any user who needs to see his own profile, they can do this. They can configure their Outlook web app setting. They can track messages. They can manage personal mobile devices, view and manage distribution membership, and recover deleted messages. So from ECP, a normal end user can do this. So every user can access them. And then administrators can manage mailboxes, can manage distribution, can search mailboxes, track mailboxes, do permissions, and mobile devices. Now, can you think of any reason why would administrator need to use ECP instead of EMC? Remotely. Let's say the admin is not in front of the Exchange server and maybe troubleshooting with some user. So if he needs to access it, so he has only two ways. One is to RDP to Exchange server and then connect. Or from the same client machine, just open ECP. ECP, as soon as they connect to ECP, he can manage all mailboxes and everything. So here, let's jump back to this screen. This is now ECP open. Now for ECP, guys, ECP, as you can see, whoever, because I'm logged into OWA in this browser, so it automatically opens the ECP for Muhammad Ali. Now, if I would have not logged into Internet Explorer or OWA, it would have asked me the password. So I can log in as administrator and have full access. So in this case, M. Ali has no administrative access. This is why M. Ali can only do these things. Organize email, group setting, his own phone. He can check his own phone, smartphone, and settings. He can block and allow few things in here. Now, let me log off from this and then log back in with admin, or let me go on to my second server and open ECP. So in ECP, I can actually now just take this URL till this point, OWA, copy it, and open it in other browser, all I need to do, change OWA to ECP. At this point, it should open this based on, so maybe the other one is logged out. So CANAPS / administrator. Yes, here it is. Otherwise, if it would have been logged in by administrator, it would have not asked me the password. But so Ali's account is working. Remember last time it was not working. Let's see his mailbox. So it's account. So which means there was few moments between enabling and disabling it. So it started working. Now let's see on this. So now this is, guys, admin view of ECP. In admin view, he can do a lot of things. He can see all of the mailboxes. He can do user management, roles editing, mailboxes, mailbox management, group management. So this is what we need to see. The difference between accessing ECP by an end user. End user can do anything on his own profile, whereas end user administrator can do many things here. So selecting a user, you can see all mailboxes. You can do role editing, mail control, rules on that, phones and voices. If there, he can see how many phones are active on this, active through ActiveSync and all that. Now let's see. So ECP.
Why do you want to give access to ECP to end users?
It is automatically done. It is so basically ECP is given to users so that they can manage their own profiles. It was not in 2007, first time introduced in 2010, so that users can do their own profile changes if they need to. Okay, so here, guys, initial mailbox role task. So normally, what do you do on a mailbox server? Guys, on a mailbox server, question, answer, tired, comment?
Information.
क्या हो गया यार?
Showing inside. The memory.
किसको? बूढ़े तोते को खाना मुश्किल होता. अच्छा, मैंने कहा कि English version, English here. It's an English version. कह रहे कि चिड़िया को नहीं सिखा सकते आप. Okay, here. Guys, see? You see that? Did you? Huh? Both example came from a Mughal. Okay, so guys, well, my point here is, if next week you don't have Exchange ready, you'll be sitting here doing nothing. So for that reason, have Exchange ready by next week, guys. Because next week we're going to create databases. We're going to have a more deep down dive into Exchange. So for that, you must have Exchange servers ready. Now, have at least 2 organizations ready. If you can, yes, have 2 organizations. So this is CANAPS.pri. Create just another Exchange server. So beside these 3, create another Exchange server and call it any other organization. So new Forex, new trade, new everything, new Exchange. So beside this, just create, if you can have another organization as well. This is all with our Exchange. Question? Yes. Question? Yes.
So the other exchange server you want to pay, is that you want to see on that or AD on that?
Yes, so this will be a second Exchange server. It is a DC, it is DNS, it is Exchange, it is NB, it is CAS, it is Hub, and then it's a totally different domain and different exchange organization. You can call it anything, guys. You can call it anything. You can name it anything. You can have your own IP. Important thing to know is that this exchange server is not part of this forest or domain. This is totally a different exchange, maybe totally a different IP address. If you can put it on 10 network and put it on 192, and then in order to connect them, we can connect them through a router, server 2012 router. But it can become more and more complex. Huh? This one, yes, this is 2008 as well. So, no, don't put it on second IP address. Just put it on the same. That one. 100. 100 or
Find a router within this server also.
We can. Everything can be done. You can have two network. We just finished a break. Did we? I think we only 100 minutes left. Remember, we were finishing at 6 today. क्या बात हुई है? Okay.
Next week.
Oh,
Next week.
huh?
Next week.
From next
I
week.
put our back on my laptop.
Okay, next week. Next week is fine. What do you put on?
My laptop an hour back, and so it feels like it's only for like 5 but then
I think we need a little time.
Okay, guys, 4 minutes break. Four minutes break. So freshen up.
That is also
इसको मैं जब सब
Yeah, but it's gonna take a long time.
Absolutely.
You
didn't have to sit down. Saying your IPv is disabled. If your hub transport is not working, then if your IPv, you probably disabled
ये सारे जो है ना आपने अपडेट कर दी मशीन ऐसे हमने शुरू किया पूरी हो गई फिर भी ये आप बंद करके दोबारा करते हैं यही से रिट्राई करते जा रहे हैं
मैं उसको रीस्टार्ट किया तो वो कहता है कि शुरू से करना है
ओके नहीं वो तो
यहाँ से
ठीक है
लेकिन एक बार उसे यूज करना पड़ेगा
यार आपने ये बताया जो IIS किया था IIS में सब कुछ इंस्टॉल किया
मैंने उसके फीचर बाद में इंस्टॉल कर दिए
सारे के सारे हर चीज
आईएस तो दे ही नहीं रहा
नहीं वो नहीं है लेकिन फिर
पहले दे रहा था कुछ भी पहले उसकी भी दे रहा था लेकिन वो मैंने इंस्टॉल कर दिया
हाँ चले यार ये देखिए अब आपको ना ये करना पड़ेगा 1 by 1 ये सारे तलाश करें और सारे प्रिंट करें
मतलब ये कि मैं इसको फुल करता हूँ वो आते
नहीं वो यहाँ से नहीं करें ना होस्ट मशीन पे इसको डाउनलोड करें वहाँ से या ये यहाँ से भी हो जाएंगे ये भी 98 ये वाला
ऊपर वाला आ जाए ऊपर वाला
अच्छा एक इस तरह नहीं करें इसमें
ब्राउज़र से भी करता हूँ
यार ऐसे करें यार सिर्फ इसको तलाश करें ये आ गया ये रोल ये इसका लगा है ये ऊपर वाला बस इस तरह एक करके डाउनलोड करें और उस पर इंस्टॉल करें ऐसे होता नहीं है Huh?
अच्छा तो वो
बस
ट्रेनिंग
5
करता
मिनट।
2 दिन से बात कर रही थी ना कि आप बोले 4 लोगों ने कर लिया
है ये बोला कि लेता है ना वो कह रहा है कि मुझे लॉक कर लिए
ओ यार आप पता
और
क्या
तो
करें,
ये
देखिए वो बड़ी अच्छी ऑप्शन, ये दो बंदे जो इधर बैठे हैं ना, क्या नाम है, सैफ और मलिक साहब, इन दोनों ने वो उससे किया यूएस वाले से, यूएस वाली जो कंपनी है उससे, और हाउ मच मे बी 195, जस्ट 195 में। इनसे पूछे कैसे रजिस्टर किया है,
ग्रुप करना है individually
जो मर्जी कर ले, जो मर्जी कर ले।
195
और वो जो है उसमें सिर्फ थोड़ी सी वेटिंग लिस्ट है, 1-1.5 महीने में आपका नाम आएगा, और आपको कौन सी जल्दी है, तो आप अभी से अप्लाई करें, 1-1.5 महीने में नाम आएगा, वो आपको उनकी ट्रेनिंग लेनी पड़ेंगी, उनकी असाइनमेंट्स है वो करेंगे, तो आपको वो दे देंगे आईडी, इजीएस्ट है। और उसमें दूसरी चीज ये है कि एक दो स्टूडेंट्स ने किया है तो उन्होंने पूरे क्वेश्चन आंसर असाइनमेंट सब लिखे हुए हैं, तो वो भी आप उसकी वो लेके कॉपी लेके वो सारा करना।
तो अभी हमें सर्टिफिकेशन तो नहीं मिली एग्जाम में पास करने को, रेज्यूमे में हम कुछ
हाँ लिख सकते हैं
mention कर सकते हैं
आप वीसीपी लिख दें, और जैसे वो एड्स में होता है बहुत ही छोटे से फॉन्ट में नीचे लिखा होता है कि रिटर्न,
ठीक है
वो आप कर सकते हैं, लेकिन इजीएस्ट एंड चीपेस्ट इज कि वो ही कर लें जो इन्होंने किया, नहीं तो जो दूसरा है वो 600 है उसका रेट।
नहीं वो
तो ये इसको ही करें, इसको ही करें, और आप अभी रजिस्टर करेंगे तो थोड़े अर्से के बाद आपकी आ जाएगी टाइम।
ऐसे पूछा
जी बिल्कुल, फोल्डर डिलीट कर दें।
तो खालिद हमारा एमपी है शायद मैनेजमेंट पॉइंट सर
ये भी करें, कैश भी
ये
करें।
कैश
इसमें क्या है, कैश हुआ ना मेरे
हाँ कैश है कैश
सीसीएम तो कराना होगा।
खालिद हमारा कैश
खालिद वो जो
जो भी करना हो
414
खालिद से करना
414 है, याद है शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई? शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई? जब मैं इलेक्ट हुआ था। हाँ
हाँ वो बड़े गलत
कहाँ से हुई
झगड़ा
थी?
हुआ था जब
भाई साहब,
कौन से?
बड़े भाई, आपके बड़े भाई।
वो नहीं वो
ओ यूसुफ साहब,
तो ये खालिद को हमने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव वो क्या नॉमिनेट किया था कि
तो कह रही है कोई यूनियन थोड़ी है जो आप आए से बात
हमारी क्लास से खालिद दिया था
यार
वो जो 414
वर्कशॉप में जो
आप बोले ना मैं दे देता हूँ, प्रॉब्लम ये है कि वो चेंज हो गया।
कौन सी यही थी यार,
फायदा नहीं है
वर्कशॉप
एमसीसी वाला
लोग भी, अगर आप आपके पास वो नहीं तो ऐसा है, दूसरे ग्रुप में जो लोग हैं ना वो शिकायत कर रहे थे
वो यही है यार।
नहीं तो जो भी 6 मंथ का हमने लीव थी उसमें अपडेट नहीं करते हो क्या वो भी
ये थोड़ी है,
वो भी नहीं है वाले
अच्छा किसकी?
मैं बता रहा ये हूँ कि वो जो अपडेट कर रहे हैं उसमें कुछ क्वेश्चन अपडेट
वो भी
लास्ट
तो
अपडेट है सप्लीमेंट टू सीरीज का
स्लाइड होगी।
एससीसीएमए में। अच्छा, और वही देख मैं गया था चेंज हुआ पहले पे फाइनल
अरे
और ये
अच्छा आपने भी करवाने
ये नहीं 6 माह का
यार
था।
वो
फायदा क्या है
आपको
अपडेट
आपको ऐसे
समझने खत्म हो गया, इसलिए मैंने ईमेल आज से बता
और
नहीं ये कह रहा हूँ तो मैं ईमेल आज भेजने वाला था आपको बता दूं इस माह के एंड
तो ये
तक
फाइंड करेंगे फ्लाइट आपको लगने वाला है।
नहीं
तो इसलिए जो भी लास्ट कुछ भी फाइल चाहिए वो आप बता
नहीं वो फायदा क्या अगर वो अपडेटेड नहीं है मैंने फॉर 14
कोई क्लाउड की एसी क्लाउड की सर्टिफिकेशन चाह रहा
अच्छा,
था। अगर किसी और को कुछ चाहिए तो बोल दे तो मैं डाउनलोड कर दूंगा। तो मैं ये डलवाना मैंने 413 14 में करूँ आज
नहीं लेकिन वो तो वाला नहीं है ऐसे
आप तो वो ये रिस्क है वो चांस है 50-50 है
नहीं तो
अगर
अगर
आप
उसका फायदा नहीं है तो अगर वो वैलिड नहीं है
तो आप शुरू करना है क्योंकि लड़की को पता लग गया
नहीं यार अभी
अरे ये मैं
आप मैं आपको दे देता हूँ बेशक आप दे ना दें
काफी काफी
देखिए पास फॉर श्योर बेहतर होता है ये जो हमने यूनिट सोर्स लिया था एग्जाम कलेक्शन
आपने कैसे लिया होगा
एग्जाम कलेक्शन नहीं एग्जाम कलेक्शन
काम ही कोई नहीं है अभी आज तक हमने कोई काम नहीं किया तो पहले मैं लैपटॉप उसको भी उसको आने मुझे तो पता हो जाएगा खत्म हो गया 3 हफ्ते एक्सटेंड भी काफी मिल रहा भी काम नहीं है कोई काम नहीं है क्या करेंगे हैं क्या बढ़ा देंगे हो सकता है हम बढ़ाएंगे
नहीं
अपने रेज्यूमे अपनी अपडेट नहीं करना भाई बात अब करना भी अलग है तो जो है बहुत
एक्चुअली नहीं मेरा प्रॉब्लम है कि मेरा जो काम है ना मेरा सीजन ऑफ होने वाला है मैं ले ऑफ होने वाला है 2 हफ्ते में उसमें तो डेस्कटॉप मिलता नहीं होगा करेंसी करना होगा ना वही कह रहा हूँ लेकिन मैं सिर्फ वीसी की है ना क्या कंज्यूमर ये हो जाता है रेज्यूमे में इसको ये कुछ डाल सकते हैं हम कह सकते हैं कि या नहीं आपको मेंशन नहीं करना होगा
खराब हो गया चले आ जाएगा
एमसीसी
मेरा चाहिए तो है आपके चाहिए
मेरे पास है ना दूसरी सर्टिफिकेट कौन सी हाँ इसके अभी जो अभी अपडेटेड है वो मेरे पास हो गई मुझे तो लिए नहीं मुझे भेज दो ना फिर वो 80% है 112
इसको चला दें लेकिन ये जैसे ही डाउनलोड होगा ना फिर आप सेव मोड में जाकर इसको चलाएंगे इसमें नहीं करें okay guys let's start so here this slide talks about mailbox server role now you're sitting in mailbox server role we already verified that our mailboxes are working they are sending email they are receiving email we checked that mailboxes are fine now, your first task would be to secure your mailbox server. How do you secure it? We're going to check that out. Create and configure databases, configure high availability, configure public folder, and all that. This is all done in mailbox server role. But before doing this, let's first understand how mailbox server works. Now, mailbox server has databases. So let me first put this on. Mailbox has databases and databases are made up of files. Mailbox are databases and they are made up of files. Guys, next week, test of this week. So, for Exchange, every week there is a test. For Exchange? Yes. Whatever we have covered.
Oh, really?
Yes. Everything. Everything, Exchange is very important. Okay, here. So guys, mailbox server role. Let's understand mailbox server role. Now, mailbox server role is responsible for what? Is responsible for storing, managing mailboxes. Now, the word mailboxes is that each user has its own mailbox. So that makes this mailbox server role very, very important. There is one-to-one relationship with each user and mailbox. Now, that makes this role very, very critical for Exchange. So you have a user has a mailbox, and that mailbox is sitting in a specific server. It is sitting in a server. So for now, we know that there is an Exchange server. There is a user's mailbox, and Exchange server. Guys, in between mailbox and the Exchange server, there is a database. So this is number 3 that we need to understand. So there is a database where this mailbox sits. So here. So now we need to understand like this. User, mailbox sits in the database, and database is inside an Exchange server. Exchange server is inside our Exchange organization. So this is Exchange org. Number 5. And now we're going to see this. We already saw a user. We created a user. We created a mailbox. mailbox was created in this database, and database is inside Exchange server. We installed it. Before installing the server, you had the Exchange organization. So now you have this. Now this slide talks about that what is this database made up of? So user is logged in here, and then we had a cache server role in between. User connects to cache server gets the authentication. Authentication is done, user is connected to the mailbox. Now in this case, this database, so we have a very important component that is known as mailbox database. Mailbox database is what? It is a collection of mailboxes. All your mailboxes are sitting in this database. So it is a collection of, or repository or collection of mailboxes. It is a repository or collection of mailboxes where all your mailboxes are sitting. Now, in this case, this mailbox database is made up of all these different type of files. It has transaction log files. It has database files. There is a transaction log for each database, location of the database and transaction log, and database is no longer use single storage instance. Now here, guys, each database is made up of these files. Now this is exactly the same way how Active Directory is stored and works. So here, this is exactly this. So there is something called a checkpoint file. There is something called a log file. There is an extended log file. Then there are two reserved files, reserved transaction log file, JRS files, and then there is temp.edb file, and there is temp.log file, and then this is the main file where everything is stored. So I'm going to go through this right now. Now, the very first time, guys, when Exchange is installed, there is one default database created. How many? One default database created, and that one default database is basically a .edb file. EDB file. It is a EDB file. Now, you must have a very good understanding of this hierarchy and structure in order to troubleshoot Exchange databases. So the very first database is this, and this database can be a file name .edb. So wherever your mailbox database name is, that will be the name. For example, this database you created specially for executives. Executives. So the database name will be executive.edb. So it is executive.edb, and then this executive.edb will be in all these names. So executive.checkpoint, executive.log, and executive, the numbers are logs. So this is how it is. So the very first thing that is created in this is called, let's say, executive.db.edb. And EDB represents, this is the main database file. Now, the very first time when this is created, along with this, there is another file created that is known as log file. So this will be executive. The second file that is created, executive db.log file. So these two files are created the very first time any database is created by default. So a log file and a database file. This log file is known as transaction log file. This is a transaction log file. And this is basically a database file. This is a database file. So I'm going to explain that. So database file, which means if this one file is deleted, your whole database is gone. If this one file is gone, your whole database is gone. No mailboxes exist. This is the main. This is like NTDS for Exchange, NTDS.dat for Active Directory, and this file is basically the main database file of this. And if you have 5 databases in that server, you'll have 5 files. And then to help this file, you have transaction log files. The main purpose of transaction log file is this, that when the data is written to Exchange database, it first goes to a transaction log file. And I'm going to make this complete cycle here. Actually, the complete cycle is right here. So a message received to Exchange server. So when admin sent a message to M. Ali, it's sent to the Exchange server. Now Exchange server, what it does, as soon as it is received, this one message first goes into RAM. So from here, the message, let's say a user sent a message to Exchange server, user, a laptop, and Exchange server. Let's say cache and everything is in between. User sent a message to Exchange server. In Exchange server, the very first thing, this same message has to go into basically this database, this EDB file. But guys, to keep the message 100% clean of errors, to keep the message 100% of any type of error or any type of corruption, this message is first sent to the memory, the RAM of this server. So this is RAM of Exchange. So this is the RAM of Exchange. So basically it goes to RAM, and a copy of that message is sent to a transaction log file. So this is your transaction log file. This is your actually EDB file. This is your log file. Now this transaction log file is of 1 MB in size. This is not more than 1 MB. So this is 1 MB in size. If the message is long, as soon as 1 MB is done, it creates the second transaction log file. And then it creates a third transaction log file. Then it creates a fourth transaction log file. While messages are sitting here, they are checked for any errors, for any corruptions. If as soon as they are complete, then they'll be sent to the database. If the message is complete, then from here, the message sent to the database here. So this is just to make sure. Now, the easier way around would have been, the simpler way would have been, you send a message, directly send it to the database. Yes, it can go to the database. But guys, since this database is very, very important, just to make it 100% error-free, the messages are saved in transaction log files. So there will be transaction log file. As soon as, let's say, your one message is here, and then here, let's say it was 4 MB, and message completed here, now this message will be returned to the database. So now it goes into the database without error, without anything. Now, and then what happens is, and then an update is made to a checkpoint file. So let's say this is log file, transaction log file number 1. And then when it has to create a second log file, what it does, that it creates a second log file by a big, huge number. And then user can access it. So here, let's go back to this screen. Here, guys, you can see two types of log files. One is the main log file, and second one is when it needs to create additional log files. And this log file will have a number. Now let me show you this. These all, actually before showing you these all, let's check this out. So here you have these numbered log files. So let's say this number is dot log file, second one 1, and third one 2, and so on. Now these log files are being created just to make sure that the messages that are coming to Exchange server, they should be complete and error-free. If in case any message it has errors, it will be never returned to the EDB log file. But once they are clean, they are complete, they are error-free, they will be written here. Now in this case, there is one more file that is known as checkpoint file, CHK file. I'll come back to your question. So here, checkpoint file's main function is CHK file. Checkpoint file's main function is to make sure what is the last transaction log file written to the database. For example, so here you have a checkpoint file. So CHK file. CHK file keeps track of last transaction log file written to database. So basically, in this checkpoint file, it has the number last written file. So here, checkpoint file will be something like this. Let's say the last file that was written was 10002.log file. So it has a number which file was written. Now, why is it so? Now, it is because at any point in time, let's say after that there were many log files here. So it just keep on creating log files, and then 4. So it created many log files, but guys, right at this point, Exchange went down. As soon as Exchange went down, next time when it starts, it will first go to the checkpoint file and see which was the last successful file written. So then from there, it will start the next log file and will start writing it to the database, just not to duplicate data in Exchange. Not to duplicate data, number one. Number two, to make sure that which files were written, these files shouldn't be rewritten again. So checkpoint file keep track of last transaction file written. And then other than these, there are these two files. These are called reserved files. These are reserved transaction log files, JRS. Guys, nowadays, there is no use for these two files. These two files, so there are two files. There is JRS files. JRS files are used when Exchange crashes. In those few moments, whatever is in the memory is dumped to these two files. When the Exchange crashes, so here, in case of Exchange server crash, the data in RAM is written to reserved file. Reserved log files. Yes, Exchange server crash. The data is written. The data in RAM is written to the reserved log files. Now, just why? So that next time when Exchange starts, it should know what was the last data written. But that nowadays this is not even practical. These log files, these reserved log files are configured in Exchange right from the days of 5.5. 5.5, 2000, 2003, 2007, 13, 10. They're always there, but they are so small that nowadays RAM is huge big. So this is each file is 10 MB. 1 MB or 10 MB?
1 MB.
Did I say 1 MB or 10 MB?
1.
1 MB. So this is 1 MB. So 2 MB. So this is not even. Now there are two files left, which is temp.edb and temp.log file. So see that temp.edb and temp. These two files are only used when database is down so your main EDB file is down for maybe maintenance reasons. You are taking down the database, but users are still sending messages. So in that temporary time, all the data will go into temp.edb and transaction logs will be these. As soon as main database is up, all data will be moved to the main database file. So this is why it is known as temp.edb. Temp.edb or temp.log this is temporary workspace for processing transactions. This is temporary transaction log file for temporary workspace. So this is just temporary when your database is down. So here you have two more files, which is temp.edb and temp.log. Both files are used when Exchange DB is down. So basically, inside the same folder, you have this another database. So in that database, all the data, when the database is down, goes into this and later on. Now, let me show you these files. So basically, guys, how many files do we know? We know that as soon as Exchange database is created, there is main EDB file, which is the main database file. If this file is gone, your mailboxes are all gone. And this is transaction log file. So transaction log file is messages are sent to Exchange. Instead of directly going to database, they are written here in transaction log file. and one by one they'll be keep on being written in the database. And there is a checkpoint file. Checkpoint file just make sure which transaction file was written at last time, so that if it crashes here, it can start from the next transaction log. Question?
What are the reasons that the file is not transferred to PGP, database?
What is the reason?
Yeah, you said like errors, right? What are those errors which stop files from being transferred?
Yes. So why are we not directly writing this message to DB? Guys, long time back, since Exchange database is very important, it's a mission critical database, and in this database, if anything goes wrong in one mailbox, it can affect all 5,000 mailboxes. So Microsoft came up with this strategy. They came up with this safe strategy to write all the messages here in case any error message, like CRC errors. CRC error, this cyclic redundancy errors. Those are errors when files are written. When files are written, they might have some typos, some few things, bits and bytes missing. So those, idea is just to have clean data inside. That's the main thing. So with Exchange 2010, it has become more and more safer databases. As compared to 2007, 2003, 5.5, the corruption of databases were more in those days than 2010 now. Yes.
So those transaction log files, are they created in a database itself, or are they?
They are separately created. So these are separate files.
Okay, so they're in another database.
No. They are separate files. So this is the main database file actually. So within the same folder, you would see these files as well. So I'm going to show you these files here. Now guys, let's go into our Exchange server and see the files. So here, I'm on my Exchange server. First of all, you go to EMC, and within EMC, in order to see my database, it is basically inside a mailbox server. So this is my mailbox under server configuration. So, and here, basically, it should show me the database is still loading, and here it should show me how many databases exist on this server. So once it is loaded, so here this is the database that I'm working with. This is one database that I'm working with. This is one database. Now here, if I go to organization level, on organization level, it is still showing me the database, but here it is showing me that on this level, it would show me all the databases on all Exchange servers. But if you go to here, server level, so it would show you server level databases. So once next week, when you have 3 Exchange servers, here you would see all the databases. And when you go down on server level, right at this level, you would see only databases. When you select a particular server, you would see its own database. So now here, let's right click on a database and go to properties. So I am on, so finding a data, in your notes, just say find a database. Finding a database. In order to find a database, you need to go to EMC and then go on to server configuration and then mailbox. So EMC, server configuration, mailbox. Finding a database and mailbox. EMC, server configuration, and mailbox. EMC.
On the top it shows all the servers, Exchange servers. If we have 4 servers.
Yes, it will show you all the servers, right? Exactly. Now this database, guys, this database is actually sitting in program files. So here we know that one database is sitting, and now in here, if I go down in C drive, within C drive, you go to C drive, and then here you go to program files, and within program files, you go to Microsoft. Within Microsoft, you go to Exchange, and you go to V14, and inside this, you have mailboxes. And in mailboxes, so this is the complete path. In mailboxes, you have these. This is my database. Now, how do I know this is my database? This is the same number. At the end, it is 77735, and if I go here, it is 77735. So this is the database, and the location of this database on C drive is this location. यार क्या हो गया, क्या है, मेरी भी उतार दे के रह ना जाएगा, क्या है यार. Okay, here guys, this is the location by next week. Please do not forget this. Where is your database sitting in your drive? So your database is sitting basically C drive, program files, Microsoft Exchange, V14. V14 is the version of Exchange 2010. This is the code name of Exchange 2010. Now, code name for Exchange 2013 is V15. That was V15. This is version 14. And this is your database. So you need to know where is your database inside EMC. So inside EMC, you can find it in server configuration, mailbox, and database. Whereas in C drive, you can find them in C, program file, Exchange, server, V14, and mailbox. Once you're here, guys, now inside this folder, you would see all these files. So these are all transaction log files with numbers. These are all transaction log files. This is your checkpoint file, CHK file. Inside the file, you have numbers. You cannot read this file. This is a system file, but you can read it through a command line. There is a command line for this. And basically, these are your reserve file. Guys, you can have actually, maximum 10 reserve files. So 10. And each of them is 1 MB in size. So 1024 KB. So 1 MB, 1 MB, 1 MB. And your transaction logs are also 1 MB in size. As you can see, each transaction log file 1 MB in size. So these are your transaction log files. And under this, if you go down, this is your main database file. So at the moment, our database is sitting here. And you see, whatever is the database name, that is the name of the file. And this is .edb. And here you have 270 MB. So the more user you start making, the more it becomes. But this is your main file, and this is your temp.edb. Temp.edb is used when Exchange, non-Exchange server, the database is down. When the database is dismounted or down, then tempdb is used. All data goes into tempdb. As soon as that comes, it would transfer all the data. So you need to remember both of them, and you need to remember this transaction log history. And done. Okay. So for this week, it's crucial. Which one? So guys, next week, please try to have at least one complete organization, and then one complete organization is this. Try to have these challenges done. So there is a challenge of 400 users or 200 users. It's just a script. You just need to run a script, mailboxes. Guys, Exchange is a very interesting product. Again, the more you practice, the better it is. As you can see, there is not many complicated stuff here, but the more you practice, you will remember it. Excellent, guys. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Yay! Huh? Yes. यार अली, आप आए हैं, फिर नहीं आए, फिर आए, फिर यार उससे बहुत बैलेंस खराब होता है. मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, अगर आपने आना है, किसी ने भी आना है, पूरे कोर्स में आना है, बीच में नहीं छोड़ के जा सकते, क्योंकि ना वो लोग बैठे होते हैं, फिर वो बहुत बैलेंस खराब हो जाता है कि आज है, आज नहीं है, फिर आना है तो पूरे कोर्स. अगर चले जाते हैं तो आप जब्त कर लिया पासपोर्ट $500 बॉन्ड करवा लो. अगर आएंगे तो नहीं यार, आप आए 10 बॉन्ड करवाए. हाँ, ठीक है, लेकिन यार अब आपने आगे आना है ना, तो फिर पूरा आया. ठीक है.
Like, I'm looking at my. I'm like, you know what? Back it up. Like, I'm still ending at 5. When I hit 3, I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
even though it's like 4.
It's